Tubers! Got an older Polaris four-wheeler here. Can't remember exactly what it is. I don't have the plastics here with me right now. It's over in my trailer. Can't remember exactly, but I think it's a Magnum. Oh, obviously it'll be in the description. 400 and something cc, 4-stroke. We got one problem there. I've tried turning it over with power to the starter, and it acts locked up. It does not turn over. It barely goes click. So I bought this four-wheeler for 140 bucks. Let's see what 140 bucks gets us. Hopefully not a seized engine. Gas tank is busted and smells like the fuel is well over 5 to 8 years old. Smells nasty. There is some fuel up inside there. You can see it. I did already grab another tank offline. That's in good shape. So at least we got a fuel tank for it. Obviously needs a new seat cover, possibly new seat foam, depending. It looks like the foam's okay. Might just be able to throw a new seat cover on that and get away with it. But what we're gonna do today, before I have to head out of here, I'm going to pull this cover off, if I'm able. We're going to inspect the inside in here. The pull string, inside the pull string is rusted beyond belief. I'm guessing it's been sitting in the rain a long time, or it got swamped, or not sure exactly. So we're going to go ahead and pull the clutch cover, belt cover off here, and we're going to see if we can spin the engine over by hand. If we can, awesome. Take the starter off, either go get another used or new starter or have this one rebuilt. If not, then we're going to pull the spark plug and get some oil soaking in that cylinder. See if we can get it unlocked. So yeah, let's go ahead and start with that. Let's get the cover off. There's no battery, as you can see. Four-wheeler is really not in too bad a shape. Tires are old Dunlops on the front. I believe they're original X344. That would be 1994. So this is probably a 94 or 95. Unless somebody put older tires on this thing, which would be silly. So yeah, let's go ahead and pull that cover off now. Alright. I got this guy off, and I so wanted to twist it off camera. I so wanted to try it off camera. But I didn't. So let's try it now. Oh. It moves! Worried there for a second. It did not want to move. Sorry, I got sweat dripping into my eye. It's hot today. Need to make more room in my unit to be able to work in the shade. But she... Oop. Uh-oh. Hear it? Sounds like we got a valve stuck. Turn this guy over. There it is again. So piston is not seized. Alright, piston is not seized up, but my phone's definitely overheating. It does not like this heat. I run 4K for any amount of time while I'm in the sun, and this phone freaks out. But I was sitting here playing with it for a minute while my phone cooled down. Just slowly rotating it, and now it goes all the way around without stopping. Does feel like it's got a bit of a compression stroke there. So I started taking that starter off. having a hard time getting it off. We'll get it off and get it rebuilt. I'm gonna probably go home now, cool down before I go to work. But I am going to bring back a starter pack with me instead of pulling that starter completely out. I'm going to test it again and make sure it wasn't just because the engine didn't want to crank or move. The starter could still be good, so we're going to go ahead and test it again before we pull it off. But in the meantime, I'm going to shove this guy back into the unit. We'll be back in a couple days. See if we can get this guy moving again. Alrighty, we've come back down again. We're going to apply power directly to this starter. Let's see if it does anything. I tried running power to this once before, but that's when the engine was wanting to be locked up still. Now that we've got it turning over by hand, I'm going to run power directly to the starter again and see if the starter has an issue, and maybe that's why it was parked a long time ago. Or see if the starter doesn't have any issues and it's just because it sat so long. It's kind of doing that thing, isn't it? It might just be a compression stroke I'm feeling now. I would really like to look down into the cylinder with a bore scope. Let's go ahead and hit it with some power here. Alright, got power. No. Now that starter, yeah, that starter's got problems. That was direct power directly to that starter. So obviously that starter's got some issues. Why it seized up, I'm not sure. But that very well could be the reason why this whole four-wheeler was parked in the first place. Is somebody had a bad and plugged carburetor. I'll have to look at the carb to double check on that hypothesis, that theory rather. But my running theory on this is that the carburetor got plugged. A lot of people are impatient and just go, oh well, if I crank it enough it'll start. And people just crank and crank and crank and crank and crank until starters blow up and they go, whatever, and then they just go park it out in the field or park it behind the barn or in the barn or where have you, in your garage, behind your garage. But yeah, I think that's what's going on here, because obviously it wasn't too seized up. I'm going to go ahead and pull the spark plug next and look down into the bore, double check and see what it looks like down inside there. But I'm also going to get this starter pulled off. I've already got it halfway pulled off. I just got to get it the rest of the way off. I'm going to have to use a hammer and something else to get it off because it's being a bugger. But yeah, I'm just happy it's not seized. There's that rough spot again. I'm going to leave it right there. We're going to go ahead and pull that spark plug. Look down there with a bore scope. Yeah, you got a little, it's at the very top is where it's freezing up. That's where I'm feeling the, no, not at the very top. There's a lot of, ooh, that's not a scratch, is it? Ooh. No, I don't think that's a scratch. I think those are just lines. Does that look like a hit in this? Yeah, there's debris right there. Got a couple different attachments. This stuff's dropping in. It's probably stuff from around there. Let's go back in. Come on. Let's not make the camera dirty here. Do we see any impacts in the top of this piston? Can't see the whole piston there. Pull it back out and bend it a little bit. Go back in. Wow. don't see. There's 2 valve reliefs right there. I cannot see the other 2 valve reliefs. Would like to get a look at those. Valves if we could. I have to put a different attachment on there. I'm trying to put the camera in. There we go. Still can't get a very good look at those reliefs. Can I go down in the cylinder some more? Yeah, there we go. Not a ton further. Wanting to stop again right there. Very, very bottom. Wonder if it's got a rod knock, because it gets to the very bottom and wants to bind again. Hard to turn, and it eases up again. Let's pull that camera back out. Do it. There we go. Alrighty, tubers. Finally got that starter off. I had to take the other cover, the other side off. Let's show you what I found. It ain't pretty. There's been water all the way up to the starter up in here. Whether that happened because the pull string was out, but someone else has been in here. The whole pull string assembly is missing. The starter is definitely locked up. I'm going to sit here and play with the starter here for a minute, see if I can get it to move again. But the part that meets the starter on the back side that goes from starter to flywheel was seized in there pretty solid. Didn't want to move. Goes this way. And I said it wrong. Starter to flywheel. That was seized in there and did not want to come out. But it's moving again. There's, I'm sure, a Bendix type setup on that. It's actually moving. It's possibly savable. But this side of the motor engine has seen a lot of water. So that's not good. Not sure where the water came from or what kind of damage it's done. On this side of the flywheel, you've got your pickup right here for spark. You've got your charging, what is it called? Magneto on the back side back here. It's got a lot to do on this side, and it's seen a lot of water, so that ain't good. That ain't promising. So I'll have to figure out what to do here. Like I said, I'm going to play with the starter for a minute. Put a little bit of lube, some oil or PB Blast or something in there. Try rocking it back and forth and getting that to move again. I might take that in and go get that rebuilt, or just find another one, a used one online. As well as if I can get these 2 pieces together, or all of this together, or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty bad. I don't want to spend a ton of money on this before I know if the engine's good or not. So I'm going to do this as cheaply as possible, but both ways of starting this quad right now are up a creek without a paddle. Both electric and pull start, which is not even there. So we're only 140 bucks into this quad, so I've got some headroom to put some money into it. A lot of people think of it as, oh, I only paid 140 bucks for this quad, I'm not going to spend $300 into it and get rid of it. You got to look at it as the value of the quad, both to you and to the general public. What is this quad valued at what did you pay for it, and how much headroom do you have to, you know, I usually try to stop at half of what it's worth and see where I'm at, you know, which I would imagine this quad's worth maybe $1,000, maybe $2,000 right now with everything that's going on. But I don't want to be into it that much. Maximum of maybe $500 I want to be into this thing. So let's see what we can do about finding some parts. That'll be the end of this video for now, unless I get this guy unfrozen. But have to stay tuned, see what we can do about this, see what you guys say down in the comments. Have a good one, tubers.